Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a what if video and it is so awkward edition. Yay! So yeah, let's get into it. Yeah. Okay, so let's start with series 1. So in series 1 episode 7, Library vs Tree, Martha and Jazz fall out over the film about friendship. Now this was kind of Lily's fault, but she also helped them get back together, so that's quite cool as well. So what if they had remained unfriendly towards each other? So where I got this idea from was that at the end of the episode, Lily said, "This is it, isn't it? It's the end of our friendship. Your parents will keep you apart." And honestly, when I first watched that, I thought it was really sad because obviously the three girls are the main characters in the show and it would not do for them to be mortal enemies. So obviously the show writers kept them like that. But if they had remained unfriendly, Lily and Ollie would have probably been mutual friends with both of them still, and Lily would have still ended up with Matt for a while at least. Pretty much all the separate storylines can happen on their own. And if they had to pick sides, I feel like Lily would choose Jazz and Ollie would choose Martha. Hence the OTP. So next one we have is Series 1 Episode 13, Pouncing Tigers. Now Jazz signs all of the gang up to a football tournament. Martha obviously joins the different team and the different team wins and they lose, and that's how Matt had the line, "There's only one team I wanted to play on," and then he kisses Lily on the cheek, which is really always a super cute moment to watch back. However, if they had one, it would be so great, and Matt, being the cool talker he's portrayed as, would probably segue it into somehow, well, even if we did lose Lily, there's only one team I'd wanted to play for, and then he kisses her, which would also be a very cute ending to Series 1. And may I just say, this is slightly off topic, that may I just say, I can't catch balls either. Like, Lily, we have something in common. Thank you, girl. Appreciate it. I don't know what I'm doing with my hand. This looks really sassy. So the main storyline of Series 2 is Lily trying to get Matt to be her boyfriend, and in the series finale, the final scene of Series 2, Matt said he'd probably hang out with Lily since she's his girlfriend, which is pretty cool. But sadly, the fan favourite Matt did not make it to Series 3 and was replaced by Lily's then boyfriend Rob. Now, nothing against Rob, I personally love him, and I think it's a great thing they're just not mutually crushing on each other, and it's not like an endgame ship or anything. But if Matt had stayed on past the end of Series 2, then I'm pretty sure he would just be Lily's boyfriend. They might become like a bit of a love-hate relationship like Rob and Lily have, but they may also have been a really cute couple and the show's best pairing. Now on to Series 3. In Series 3, Episode 1 to 2, Mrs. Hampton's. This is one of the earliest and most obvious signs of Rufus's crush on Martha, which has been a very long-standing crush. If you can look back at series even as early as Series 1, it's obvious there. But then in this episode, he asks Martha out on a date and then she declines, and then she pretends to go out with Ollie to keep Rufus giving her Spanish lessons so she can pass her Spanish and get amazing results. But here's the thing, what if she had accepted Rufus's date request? So in Series 4, she does eventually agree to go on a slight date with him, but it wasn't exactly a date. And she does admit to having feelings for him, but her mother also states she's not allowed to date until she's like 35. Oh goodness, Mrs. Fitzgerald, wow, what happened to you, hun? You want to talk about your feelings? There was the possibility that Martha could have said yes, which I imagine would go something like this. "Hey Martha, you want to go on a date with me sometime?" "No." "Oh, okay, then I'm not going to give you Spanish lessons." "Oh wait, I want to pass my Spanish." I'll go on a date with you then." "Okay, yay, that's great, I love you so much, blah 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 blah." So I do truly believe those two could have had a good relationship, but I think that Rufus's feelings for Martha way outweighed her feelings for him in the first place, so I don't think they would have been a good couple and probably would have broken up by the end of Series 3. Speaking of the end of Series 3, in Series 3, Episode 13, So Long Farewell, Martha is offered a place at Greyacre, which is her old mother's boarding school. Now, obviously, she ultimately decides not to go after Ollie makes her that beautiful memory book, which, may I just say, I really hope we see more of in Series 6. Like, maybe she uses it as a diary or something. Like, that would just be really super cute. But what if she had decided to go? So, obviously, Ollie would have been very sad, and since Martha and Ollie are best friends like this, she would have had to choose that her career is more important than even her greatest friendship, which would have been a very hard decision. Ollie would have made friends with Cassie and Maxwell and would have remained friends with Lily, Rob and Jazz. Lily and Jazz would have probably made their last moments with Martha the best memories they've ever made, and it would probably be very hard for them to say goodbye to her, especially as Lily is an emotional person. Jazz would probably try to find the light in it though, and she would be fine in no time. We don't really get to see much of Rob's reaction though, as he has a football match. So we can imagine he would probably be upset at the idea of one of his friends leaving, but quickly get over it as he's only known the gang for about a year at this point. Now, skipping swiftly forward to Series 4, Episode 4, Breaking Up. One of the major storylines is a girl called Carla, who is played by the beautiful Tia Noakes. Now, Lily thinks Carla likes Rob, and that's why he's helping her with Spanish, and she turns out to be correct, but we only find this out after Lily and Rob have broken up about it. Now, I am going to be an ultimate fandom ruiner and say, what if Rob and Carla had gotten together? There wouldn't be much of a chance of this happening, but if it did, they might possibly have a relationship, and that could be portrayed as one of the big rivalries in the rest of Series 4, or we would just never see the characters ever again, and Rob would be excluded from the gang altogether. So this brings me on to Series 5. Now, a lot happens in Series 5. For example, if you haven't watched it yet, I would skip because there are going to be spoilers. But for example, Sid leaves for music college. There's a bromance between Sid and Rob, which I am personally a fan of. Ollie and Martha get a girlfriend and a boyfriend each. Kat and Gustav. And also we see a new love interest for Martha, who is Hunter. So let's start with one of the biggest plot twists of the series. What if Sid hadn't gone to college? So obviously him getting to college in the first place was entirely Jazz's doing, because after he decided not to go, she got a guy from the college to sit in the audience where he was performing his songs at Mugshot's Cafe, and he offered him a place there, to which he accepted. But if she hadn't done that and Sid had decided not to go, then he would have probably stayed at sixth form and they would have had a relatively normal year, and he would get to witness all the gang's drama just as he had done in Series 4. Skipping ahead to around the end of the series, and this is mostly going to be focused on Ollie and Martha's relationship from here and how they got to that point in the matter of a few episodes. So if you aren't interested in that stuff for whatever reason, then please skip ahead around a minute or so. So we all know the beautiful story of how Ollie eventually falls for Martha. He meets her in virtual reality, falls for her in virtual reality, is told it's her, then he races to get to her before she leaves for CERN. But what if Lily hadn't told him who it was? So I actually have theory of what happens here. So obviously he would still get dumped by Kat for Rufus, but because he's not sure where he is at this point, he probably wouldn't mind too much, and there still wouldn't be a duel with the dolphin-shaped water pistols that Rufus is carrying. By the way, may I say, very inventive weapon of choice, Rufus. Really appreciate that, man. Good job, GG. He might not have gone to CERN because he hadn't got the phone in the first place, And during CERN, we all know that Martha meets Gustav, who is her Swedish but arrogant boyfriend in episode 13. Now we can imagine how Ollie would feel about this, and it would probably be similar to the feelings that Martha experienced when Ollie was seeing Kat. So potentially without this, the two may have never gotten together, which would be a very sad story. Now these last two are going to be based on confessions, which I always think are a super cute thing. So yeah, so the first one is, what if Ollie and Kat had confessed to who they actually like at the same time? So if you are a super fan or a binge watcher, you'll remember that Kat and Ollie both started saying, look, there's no easy way to tell you this, but blank in their breakup. So what I imagine in this situation would be Ollie saying, look, there's no easy way to tell you this, but I've fallen for Martha, at the same time as Kat saying, look, there's no easy way to tell you this, but I've fallen for Rufus. And then both of them would probably stop and look at each other for a few seconds, and Rufus would probably make some remark about not needing to have a duel then, and Ollie would probably say, what now? And Kat would say, I guess we've broken up. And Ollie would go on his merry little way to tell Martha he likes her. Which he does fail at that time, but we'll just give him a little clap for trying anyways. And this brings me on to my final what if. What if Ollie had confessed to Martha before he went to CERN or during their time at CERN? Now it would be extremely hard for Ollie to confess while the others were there standing behind him, but if he managed to do it, he would probably say something like he had caught feelings for her, or would just straight up ask her out on a date. Since we don't know how it happened with him and Kat in the beginning, we can't make any prediction other than he would go for the general ask out / confess style. Now before CERN, I think Martha would be a bit confused. She might be a little disgusted. She'd probably friend-zone him, and obviously nothing of this would stop her meeting Gustav, other than that idea in the back of her mind that Ollie likes her. And obviously if Ollie says that too soon, it could probably damage their friendship, which is probably why the screenwriters and show writers didn't want them to be a couple for a long while. Now if he did confess at CERN, we'd probably have a flashback in the beginning of episode 13. Because in the beginning of episode 13 they show flashbacks to various moments throughout the series, like Valentine's Day, the gang's first day at school, and other interesting occasions. So obviously we know that Martha met Gustav at CERN, so Ollie would have to kind of compete it there. Although we are informed as viewers that Martha was not going out with Gustav until a week before the episode was set. Therefore, Ollie had plenty of time to ask her out at CERN, and if he did, she might have said yes, she might have said no, but nobody can really know for sure. Okay guys, that is it for the deep analytical thinking of What If So Awkward edition, and I have fangirled way too much over this because I've been filming currently for 26 minutes and 18 seconds, so I'm going to end this pretty quickly. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye!